Guys, Barcelona have done it. We have won the most precious, the most coveted trophy of them all, the Joan Gamper. And of course, Tottenham were coming into this game to finally win their first trophy in 15 years, but as usual, they failed, and Barcelona are once again champions of this trophy. Now, when it comes to the actual game, Barcelona set up in their classic 4-3-3. We had Ter Stegen in goal, Eric Garcia, Koundé, Araujo, and Balde forming the back four, Pedri, Ramu, and De Jong as the middle three, and Xavi, Lewandowski, and Rafinha as the front three. It's important to note that Araujo did play as a right back this match, which was because Perisic is a 1v1 threat, and we saw throughout the game, mostly against Sergio Roberto, how good he actually is. And I think Tottenham actually lined up at a 4-2-3-1 with Visario in goal, Porro, Sanchez, Dyer, and Reguilon, and then a midfield two of Oliver Skip and Yves Bissouma, Lo Celso in that 10 position, Perisic, Solomon, and Richarlison as the front three. And I think when you look at the stats today, again, it was possession dominated by Barcelona, and although this may seem pretty typical for Barcelona, against Ange Postecoglou, who famously got absolutely battered by Real Madrid, but kept a lot of possession, he is a very possession-based manager, and to do this against them specifically is very good. And I think for a large part of the game, we really did see Tottenham dominating. They were the better of the two teams up until, I would say, the 60th, 70th minute, and then once, obviously, they were leading until the 81st minute, and so we really tried to put on the pressure a little bit more, and then we ended up getting the 3 goals pretty late on. But Tottenham were really, really good today, and they were the better team for majority of the game. And we have 3 very, very important games next. We have Getafe away, which will be very difficult, as we know with Getafe historically. Then we have the Cadiz game, which is, as usual, Cadiz is one of the most difficult teams in La Liga to play with their low block, so they will be very, very difficult. And then we have a very interesting test against a team that has done not so well against Barcelona typically in recent years, but is a very well-structured team under Quique Setien in Villarreal. And so these 3 teams will be very, very difficult for Barcelona, but what is important to note is that there are 3 teams that will attack and defend against Barcelona in different ways. Getafe and Cadiz with the low block will be different, while Villarreal will be much more attacking. Now, what's important to note after this is the fact that what did the world think of this game? Now, this game was kind of unique because of Lamine Yamal. Lamine Yamal today was just absolutely incredible. I mean, he's 16 years old, just turned 16 last month, but was absolutely superb. And this is what Neil actually had to say. I'm still in awe of what Lamine just did. 10 minutes completely changed the game. The circumstances do not matter. A 16-year-old shouldn't be this good. He's got everything, and I mean everything in his repertoire. Even La Masia has outdone itself this time. And I think this is a truth with Lamine Yamal. Like, we see 16-year-olds, we've seen Ansu Fati, we've seen Messi, and these 16-year-olds were great, absolutely incredible. But I think what we have to note with a player like Lamine Yamal is that he's completely different. His maturity and his IQ is at a Messi level. Ansu Fati at this age had a similar IQ, but wasn't as technical, I'd say. But Lamine Yamal has been completely different. And I think that another comment that also came in was that Lamine Yamal, at 16 years of age, within a few months, has shown infinitely more levels of maturity and football IQ than Ousmane Dembele has shown in his entire 6-year tenure at Barca. You can argue with the wall. And I think this is a truth. To be honest, this might seem like an overreaction from a couple games, but the truth is the fact that Lamine Yamal is much, much more mature than Ousmane Dembele. Like, even at this age, because even that turn that he did on Reguilon and then managed to actually score that, or like assist that goal, pre-assist that goal to Ferran Torres, that's not something we've seen Ousmane Dembele do. Dembele is a mercurial talent. Like, the way he dribbles is different, but he doesn't have that same level of maturity. And I think this is just the truth. Although we have to be really patient with Lamine just because of his age, his talent and his ceiling is, there's just no limit to it because he's that fantastic. And Xavi was also asked about Neymar, and the truth about that deal is the fact that Neymar is really in another team right now, but the transfer window is open until the end of the month. I can't say anything. So what Xavi's doing is he's keeping the door open just because transfers and exits like Ansu Fati and like as Abde or Ferran Torres could still happen. But the truth is, Xavi does not have much interest in bringing back Neymar. He said this publicly, saying that Neymar is his friend, but he does not want to bring him back. This is just the truth. Xavi likes Neymar as a person, he's a clear friend, and probably as a player as well, but his attitude and everything just don't fit into this structure that he wants to build with Barcelona. And I think the conclusion, and really the statement that we can make from today, is that the first 60-70 minutes for Barcelona were unacceptable. those were some of the worst minutes I've seen from the club in this preseason. There was not enough intensity, and once Araujo had to go off with the precaution, we really saw a really bad version of Barcelona. But at the end of the day, our substitutes managed to do well. They managed to impress, especially Ferran Torres, Abde, Lamine, and Ansu Fati, and we win the Joan Gamper. And most importantly, we have a week against the very, very big game against Getafe. And so we just have to prepare for that. And as ever, Visca el Barça.